in regard for being over here. Thrilled when I had the opportunity and was invited to come speak with you guys, and thank you to all you for showing up and listening today. I'm going to talk on behalf of special teams play, specifically our kickoff coverage. So after this, if you have questions regarding some of those other units, let me know, ask questions about any of them. I'm our special teams coordinator, so I control all 4 of those units regarding the kicking game. I'm assuming that most everybody in here would like to be better on special teams and would agree that special teams can win you football games. Yes? Now, what I found, and what most places struggle with, is you want to be here in special teams, but most guys are going to practice it somewhere down here. So, not to burst your bubble, there's not going to be any magic secret here today. If you want to get better at something, you have to practice it. Our head coach, Bob Nielsen, gives us an immense amount of meeting time. We'll have only special teams meetings, to the equivalent of what we do on offense and defense, and we have practice time. Okay, so he invests that amount and it shows up. It pays dividends for us. Okay? And the other thing that we struggled with early on in my career, I've been coaching special teams for now 7 years, and it wasn't until year 3, year 4 that I started to click on how to practice it. Special teams happens in such immense space that when AJ's up here and talking about offense and defensive line, if you can control the line of scrimmage and control gaps. On special teams, things happen in such immense amount of space that it's hard to identify gaps. It's hard to qualify where guys' fits should be. So you have to find ways to practice it that way, and you have to find the right type of player that can execute those techniques. Okay? So we do a couple different things, and I think it'll be applicable. Hopefully you guys will be able to take a lot of this and run with it, but one is how we drill it. Okay? We break things down. We don't run 65 yards every time that we work a kickoff drill. We break it down, we compartmentalize it, we pare it down, and really coach some specific things. And the other part of it is, we create a different culture with ours. Okay? So I put up there special teams and kickoff coverage. Our guys would correct me right now. If our player was in here, he said, "Coach, we don't call it special teams. We call it elite forces." Okay? My joke always is your grandma thinks you're special. I don't want special players. I want elite players on these units. When you're talking about playing at your level and at our level in the States, we can't have the third string DB running down on these units. Okay? I want access to our first string guys, our starting strong safeties, our starting linebackers, our starting wide receivers on these units. And Coach Nielsen, as our head coach, gives me access to those players. Now, there is some roster management they have to be careful of and not put some of your key guys in harm's way. But if you want to be good on these units, put good players on those units. It's that simple. Okay? And a lot of guys hesitate to do that. Hey, let's reward guys, things like that. The movie Rudy. Worst movie of all time. I don't want Rudy on my kickoff coverage. I want the guy that's going to be in the NFL draft pick on these units. Okay, so we create a different culture with it, and with that we also, we're not kickoff coverage. Our group is the mercenaries. Okay, so each unit has a different tag to it, a mentality, a demeanor that we try and invest and build, and our guys talk about it. Our head coach calls it elite forces. Our offensive defensive coordinator calls it elite forces, and everybody knows that you're mercenary. On the sideline, after we score, after AJ and JC Baker put an inside zone in the end zone, we call up, everybody's yelling for mercenaries to come down the sideline and huddle up. Okay, so it's just that developing that culture and that energy around these that's important. Because honestly, and I saw it in high school, some guys dread being on these units. You got to make it fun and showcase the big plays, and you can have a lot of big plays on your special teams units, especially your kickoff coverage. So what we do, and I'm not going to show you, specific fits and different things, because again, I don't believe in it. I believe you have to find the right type of players, okay, and drill their decision making on these units. Yes, we'll run some twists and have the ability to change some things up that way, but the biggest thing is understanding that these units happen in a wide variety of space, so we teach more on where you're at and how you make those decisions. And most importantly, when you're looking at these, it's a full speed decision, okay? You can't jog down the field, take a peek, look at things, things are by you, okay? So it's finding guys that can do that, right? And operating and teaching and doing drills, it's a full speed decision, full speed decision, full speed decision. Our guys get sick of hearing me say that. Guys, when you're on this, you have to be able to make a full speed decision. When we drill it, I see guys running long stride and they make a move and their hands don't change, their stride length stays the same. Aha, I want that guy, okay? The guy that comes down and does a little bit of this, nope, we're not fast enough, we're not aggressive enough, that's not the mentality we need on this unit. The type of vertical decisions, what I mean by that is, when you're long striding down the field and going down, where's the return guy at in relationship to my path coming down? How much room do I have between me and the return man? Okay? So that's an important piece. I think we have a unique way to drill it, which I'll show in a second here, and how we do that. And then lateral decisions. Okay? Is the ball coming? We break it apart into 3 quadrants. Okay? Is it coming into the boundary? Is it coming in the middle of the field? Or is it coming to the wide side? Okay? And all those affect how my decisions and how I fit on the football. Okay? It's not predetermined. Okay? It's how it develops. And again, having those guys operate while they're going full speed and in space. You got to get the right guys on these units, okay? I'm a firm believer in that. If you can have whatever scheme you want, if you don't have the right type of player in the right spot for what you're doing, you will never be successful on this unit, okay? And sometimes it's a hard thing to identify. And it took me a while within the systems that we run to say and have an eye for that's the type of lean, that's the type of hip bend that we're looking for on it. But just generically, for a mercenary, one, you got to be fast. I don't have any slow guys on my unit. There's plenty of linebackers, and the rules have changed for us. You used to be able to have like 3-man wedges and you had that one guy on the team that just loved to headbutt the locker, and he was good to run down and take on that wedge. Well, now you can't have wedges anymore. You can only have 2-man wedges. So that big, sluggish guy that wanted to fight everybody and headbutt things, he was useless to me now, okay? We have running backs. We have wide receivers that run down and kickoff coverage for us because they're some of the fastest guys on the team, okay? But where some of those offensive guys, excuse the offensive coaches in the room, where some of those offensive guys fall by the wayside is that second bullet point up there, the fearlessness, okay? That defensive mentality where I can go down and sacrifice my body on this play at high end. I have no regard for my body. Okay, so those are 2 characteristics that we're looking for. And when we're looking at 105 guys in the locker room, it starts to pare itself down pretty quickly and going, hey, there's an elite group of guys that have that speed and have that ability to operate in space. And then we break it down with 4 different techniques. So this is kind of where the scheme comes into play here. Okay? We have an edge technique, and we'll show that drill in a second, but that's a fast guy that's going to be able to bend. We have a lever, meaning I'm coming down on the football, and I want to keep it on this type of shoulder. Okay, so if I'm a right side lever player, I want to keep the ball on my left shoulder, I'm going to declare on the right side of the ball. Okay, so it's more of a vertical press, and the ball is going to be coming over top of those guys. What spill means is if the ball's coming at me, I need to bend and cut it off. I need to get the ball to spill to the outside, okay? I can't let the ball declare vertically. So again, using the center aisle, if Peter's the ball carrier, if I'm a lever, I'm gonna hit it right here. If I'm a spill player, I need to cross that football and cut it off. Okay, so 2 different definitions there. And then what a folder is he's a second wave type of player. Everybody else is being very aggressive. We say you have a free hit to the football. You have free hit, go take it. Go be aggressive. So those techniques are denoted as free hit players. And then folders will make sure they tempo down and remove. Let things declare, and then they fit as needed. Okay, they find those open windows, and you need a smart type of player there. So we'll look a little bit more specifically at those techniques and then how we drill it. Again, an edge player, let me just throw up a ball carrier here. So if we have ball carrier here, and he's coming vertical. 3 and 4, we denote with numbers. So if number 2 is my edge player, he's going to come, and any block that's declaring at him, he's got to come outside that, and he's got to have the ability to bend aggressively, okay? So you're going to look for a player that can turn a sharp edge. If you have the hoop drills for your D-line, use them to find guys that have that type of speed and that can turn that edge. Your folder is going to be a guy that, as those blocks declare and hit, he's going to come down, tempo up, and fit into open windows. So again, he's going to be a second level, let the free hit guys declare in front of me, okay? And then I can tempo myself back to make sure the ball doesn't split in front of those. You got to have smart guys there. We had a couple of corners do that. Corners are used to being a little bit further away from the point of attack. having things declare in front of them. Linebackers typically don't have as good of a feel because they're more in it right now. Okay, so your safeties and corners typically will end up being good folders. You also need some speed there. If you ever have it, and you will, where things aren't pretty, you need a guy to be able to track it down. Okay, so with some good speed, especially to the field. Okay, so that's our folder and our edge technique, and I'll have film on all these things declared a little bit more clean. Number 3, if he's a lever, meaning I need to keep that ball at any block to my inside. Okay, so he's got a vertical press decision. When you're a lever, you got to make it there. I say the first bullet point there is got to make great strike and press decisions. Show a drill in a second that talks specifically about teaching that, putting those guys in those situations. When we say strike and press decision, you know, if that ball is within 15 yards of you, you're not going around it. You need to strike and press that guy back in to generate, you know, the closest thing that would resemble an offensive line. Okay, that inside zone mash, we want to create one of those on the field. Okay, so we want to create a box. As you guys know, and as AJ referred to it, you know, in that box, originally when that play starts, it's not there. If you have guys, lever players, that can make good decisions and not run around a guy and create those vertical seams, but condense it, strike and press those guys, you generate a box, okay, and now it pinches and squeezes the air out of things. Those guys got to be physical. Okay, those guys got to be physical, cannot be scared of contact. Your folders, your edge technique guys, they just need courage. They don't need a ton of weight on them. Some of these guys, you know, more your linebacker type players. And then spill would be a guy that would come down and would cross the face of the football. Okay, so he's got to cut in front of it. A little bit different from an edge technique. Your spill is going to be inside guys. Edge always has it declared on his inside shoulder. Spill is the wrong shoulder. Okay. So edge would be from the outside. If this guy was a lever, you know, he'd come down and make sure he took the ball on there. If he was denoted a spill player, he's got to make sure he crosses face of the football. Okay, here's a couple of drills, and I have some film on them. But just from an organizational piece, I'll touch on that. Because I know, and talking with a lot of guys, you know, you're limited with the amount of time that you spend with them. We're limited too. You know, we have 20 hours a week, that includes the game, that includes practice, that includes weights, all that stuff. So we want to try and be as efficient as possible with our stuff. So I'll have all of our drills that we'll do, you know, drawn up just like they are here. So I'll hand that to our equipment guys. They'll take that out on the field, and they'll get the little cones set up. You know, I got all sorts of little shapes and fun things. You know, this means we need a hand shield sitting there. That's a cone. This is actually a high jump pad. Cliffhanger is a drill that'll find edge technique guys. So the guy's got to start at this cone, he's got to run and turn a 5-yard corner and then launch himself and knife out an agility shield, a tackling dummy, and launch himself on that back. And you'll find some guys that don't have the courage to turn that and the hips to turn that edge. Lions and Gazelles is a great drill to find guys with speed and that can make those full speed decisions. It's one we do early in camp. We'll do it back-to-back days. I don't know if you guys have the same rules, but we can't wear pads. We can't contact early on. It's called an acclimation period, making kids softer and softer every year. But it's meant, you know, so they don't overheat and all that stuff. So we only have helmets on when we're doing this. Okay, so there's no contact involved with it, but you'll have a lion, okay, the mercenary stand at this cone, and then what we call our ranger, a kickoff return guy at this cone. He'll try and retreat to the strike zone, which is what we call this 5-by-5-yard box here. Flip around, set his hips square, okay, and he'll just, that's it. He's done for the drill. The mercenary's got to hawk him down, okay, so the lion's going to be chasing the gazelle. And we name all this stuff, fun stuff, so guys know it. You know, we don't practice, blow the whistle, and hey, we're going to that one mercenary drill. We blow the whistle, and it's lions and gazelles. And some guys be talking, hey, I'm the lion, I'm coming to eat you. And guys have a little bit more fun with it. So I'd encourage you, whether you copy names, use some different stuff, cliffhanger, you know, be creative with it. So the first one that's depicted here is going to be the lions and gazelles. So I like to do it with 3 lines. Okay, so then you put guys right next to each other and you can compare speeds. Okay, so what we're really looking for here is, again, finding players that can make full speed decisions and that are fast. Okay, you may test 40s, you may test different things like that, so you have numbers to do it, but there's also a live piece to that, a football speed. Okay, so I want to find guys that can roll in football. So we'll start it here. I'll be out. I'll blow a whistle. Starts on the whistle. We roll. You see, these guys want to get out. They don't want to waste fall steps. Like the kid down here, he takes a half step out of the way. Don't waste your movement. Pretty decent job here. They're going to race to, here's your 5-yard boxes. This is what we call the strike zone. And as they go, we'd like them to get butt side. Okay, I'm sure many of you have heard that term. If I'm the ranger running this way and I start to turn this way, we'd like our mercenary to take this side. Okay? Take this side because you can't block back here, right? For obvious reasons. So we encourage those guys to take butt side. We'll key the back of their helmet. Most guys, when they go down to that box, are going to turn before anything else happens. They're going to turn to look. So we'll key the back stripe, the back part of their helmet, if I have a guy on line with me, and whichever way he turns, hey, encourage to get butt side. But, and I encourage you to do this, that's not the ultimate rule. Because you'll have guys run so far out of the way to make sure they get butt side, that almost takes himself out of the way. The bigger coaching point for me is make a full speed decision. If you had to slow down, or stutter your feet, or change your course to get butt side, to me, that's a waste. If you can beat them front side, great. And we actually have sound effects that we'll cue into it. Everybody seen the movie Top Gun at all? The flyby, the jet noise. You know, so we'll tag that in the film. If a guy just smokes somebody, you know, we'll put a sound effect on there to make it fun and say, hey, he's rolling. That's the mentality that we're looking for. Okay? So like right here, the guy down on the bottom, you know, when these guys cross the 35, it's fairly even. Okay? He's got a step ahead. He's got a little bit more juice, which is great. But when they come out the other end, he wins. What happened? What was the difference there? Well, he does a decent job of tucking and he doesn't change his gait. Where the guy down here at the bottom, you know, he stutters his feet ever so slightly. We'll film it from both directions. And the other piece that we'll teach a lot with this is how you dissect these blocks. Okay, so when you make a full speed decision, even though he stuttered his feet, I really like, you barely see him here, how he tucks his shoulder. Okay, what I don't like about the guy in the middle is he has to jerk his shoulders to get around him. Okay, I don't know if you can tell from this, but he's stiff. Can barely bend over and touch his toes to tie his shoes. So even though he's fast, this type of movement says, I don't want that guy directly over top of our kid. He's got to be a guy that's going to be a little bit farther away from him. The guys that are directly over top of the football have to do a great job of bending, okay? Some guys teach, you know, throwing a big rip when you clear this block. I don't talk a ton about the rip, not right or wrong here, but I talk more about, hey, making sure you reduce and protect your shoulder, okay? So you want to drop your shoulders. What happens when I drop my shoulder? My hips slide out, and you'll get a guy that can really lean. Like up here at the top, he does a great job at reducing his shoulder, and then naturally slings his body on that angle where he can turn that edge and then get back on line. They have cones that they got to finish you on the other side of that gate. And you can see how he's really got to work to fight to get back in there. And there's a couple more clips where guys do a really nice job of that. So like right here, this is decent. You know, this is a great picture of, hey, protecting that shoulder, reducing and running, and then it slings you right back on line. Also a little stiff. You start to identify that. Good movement here, good long stride, good technique. We like those guys. Okay, so I didn't have good footage of it. It was kind of a foggy day when we did it at Western, so this was back to previous stop up in Duluth, Minnesota. This is the cliffhanger drill. Okay, so we just have a lead blocker here, this big old butt, and then we'll have an edge technique and a folder. Okay, so this is the guys that are going to be farther away from the football, and we'll put that diagram up. What we're really looking for here is when a guy goes to take on this block that he presses off of his inside foot. Okay? So it's same foot, same shoulder, if guys have heard that contact before. So when I take on a block, okay, or trying to run around it, it's here to elevate. That's where your power comes from. A lot of guys think it's here, but it's not. It's really when you slow down and watch contact on those, and we teach our tackling techniques the same. That it's same foot, same shoulder. That's where your real power comes from. And because you need that next leg, like he's doing with that knee drive around the corner. Okay, so this is a kid when we were back at Duluth, was a great edge technique. And then the folders, when they get down towards the strike zone, are going to start to chop their feet, slow down, make sure they remove themselves from the second level. And then the guys have fun with this. I mean, they got to launch themselves. You want guys that are not afraid to leave their feet. Okay? I mean, this is a tight corner. This is a tight edge. This is an aggressive deal. The first clip when we get to film, my favorite kid I've ever coached on these units ever, the kid's about 5'9", $170, but he would fight anybody in here. I mean, the kid's got brass balls like you wouldn't believe, okay? And he'll go Now this kid, a little bit different, a little stiffer. So when he steps, good shoulder, but he doesn't quite get the turn, and he leaves his shoulders all open, so he really struggles to turn that. Okay, so when he actually clears the pad, he actually comes off on the top side of it. Okay, something little. If a return is going to get north and south, which is what we're simulating here, and you're going to run around the blocker, you got to be able to get flat to get there. Okay, so of these two clips, the winner's definitely the first guy, because he was able to turn flat and get right down the line to be able to cut off a kick returner. So this is looking at a couple different techniques here, looking at our lateral decisions. Okay, so that first drill, we talked about all the different techniques. First drill is really look at, guys have to make full speed decisions. And we're able to find a decent edge technique through the cliffhanger drill and start to teach some of the fold techniques. And we'll put this all together. But when we're over top of this, and I have an E for an edge, he's spill, and he's a lever. So if the return's coming into the boundary, this is where we want these guys crossing on the football. Okay, also kind of what we drew up on the board here. Edge, he's got to stay outside of it, so even though he's an edge, he's going to turn just like a spill, except for he's going to try and put the ball on his left shoulder, a spill is going to try and put it on his right shoulder, with it being over top you into the boundary. And let me pause there. I should have mentioned this before. From a coaching standpoint, we are a directional kick team. I'll never ask for it. Our kickers sometimes will put it there. I'll never ask for the ball down the middle of the field. Okay? I don't want to defend 53 to 30 yards. I want to put the ball in the numbers, okay, and or wider, so as we squeeze, we're taking that 20 yards to hash, we're going to hash the sideline, okay? So we're doing 33 to 30 yard. Big difference. Big difference when you're trying to condense things and generate a new box, right? Middle return, so if the ball goes into the middle, lever, again, really the same, you got to keep the ball on your left shoulder. Now the spill will come underneath him later. Edge, really the same tactic, okay? So those boundary guys, not a ton changes there. Where it does change is identifying when the return's to the field. Okay, so these guys are running vertical, and every week we'll give them visual cues saying, hey, the fullback, wherever he goes, the return's usually going, you can pick up some tells. Some well-coached teams, it's hard to tell. Again, you got to have faith that you've taught your guys how to operate in space and function out there. I don't like having to hold my breath on these units. It takes too long. High risk of passing out, if that's the case of it. So when we're doing this edge, you still have the same landmark on it, but now our spill and our lever will turn into bend and chase players, okay? So when I talk about bend and chase is, hey, lever, turn, you want to try and keep a 5-by-5 relationship on the football, okay? So you don't want to come lever it high side here, okay? If the ball's leaving, if you're a boundary guy and the ball's going 2 fields over, you now need to get into pursue mode, okay? And we don't want to be chasing each other. It's a hard thing, and you'll have guys do it, but all those guys, what they tend to do is come here, and then they all follow each other as they turn to go. It's an awareness, going back, I keep saying it, about space, of realizing who's around you. Know that your edge is top side, okay? You as a lever need to get to 5-by-5, and if the spill beats you there, he'll be 5-by-5. And then lever needs to be 10-by-10, or 5-by-5 off the next guy. We want to have pursuit coming across the field on different levels, okay? So something that's really important, because if you have them all chasing each other, it just takes one window, and now it's vertical. With this type of pursue mentality, now you have yourself covered up, there's multiple levels, and you'll take care of things in a little bit more efficient manner, okay? This is where make our bread and butter. Teaching guys how to properly make vertical decisions, okay? The big thing is the kick returner within 10 yards of the strike zone, okay, or 15 yards from me? Okay, this is, as I showed out the Lions and Gazelles drill, something very similar, okay? Here's the strike zone. Where's the kick returner at? If I'm coming down the field and he's within 10 yards, okay, from the 15 to the 25 in this scenario, if he's within that, I'm making a strike and press decision, okay? I'm not going around that guy. Hey, I'm not going to try and dissect that. I'm not going to tuck and run. My full speed decision says strike and press. Okay? How do I strike and press? You headbutt the son of a gun. Okay? You want to be really physical. You want to bring your hats in hand, no different than a linebacker taking on a guard in an ISO block, anything like that. We want to stay square. We want to go right down his midline, right through his soul. Okay? That's what I tell my guys all the time. You want to be able to take a little piece of his soul every time you hit him. Okay? And then shed that block to be able to fall off and make that tackle. But if we have 3 levers in a row, or even spill decision, all guys in a row that make the right decision, all of a sudden that pocket declares. If one guy doesn't, he's got his shoulders turned, and all of a sudden there's a C, okay? If the ball isn't within that, if you have room to operate, so now it's 12, 13 yards from the space. Without slowing down, make a speed decision, and make a speed move on. Okay, there's really kind of 2 parts to this. Either you protect yourself and just run, beat them with full speed, or if it's in a gray area, you want to be able to shock and shed. Okay, when I say shock and shed, it just means pop the guy and get around him, and that's usually your 2. I'll let some guys swim. It's really dependent on where the guy's shoulders are at. Okay, if you shock him and his near shoulders turn to you, okay, go ahead and swim over top of that. I don't mind that, even though you expose your ribs, things happen fast enough. If you shock and it opens up his chest, then we want to get underneath him and go. Okay, then you want to be able to throw that rib. Okay, so there's 2 things. I don't overcoach that tongue because it goes back to, hey, we want to be fast. I'm endorsing you. We're cutting you guys loose. You are a free hit. I mean it. Go, 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 go. I don't want to stop and say, you should have done this, or your hands here. No, there's so much space. I want a mercenary. I want kill mentality. Go, okay? So don't overcoach some of this stuff. Get those guys to play fast. How do you drill that, okay? This is my favorite drill of all time, strike zone. That's how it's set up. Here will be the ranger. Here will be the mercenary. Those guys are 4 yards apart. They only have to retreat 7 yards, flip his hips, just like they did in lions and gazelles. But in strike zone now, it's physical. It's physical, okay? And at Duluth, we didn't have the guy yet. AJ's making some great ones for us coming up. But we actually had an All-American offensive guard be one of our best kickoff return guys of throwing what we call a pace block here. Again, flipping pages just for a sec, talking about kickoff return, okay? So be creative on big physical suckers that can take on a strike and press, to freeze it, to stop his charge and deliver it back, okay? So that's what you're looking for, and we'll point some of those out on film here. But the mercenary now has to ID where the ball is in relationship to that strike zone, okay, and make those decisions. The speed zone, there's no kick returner in it, okay? So this is more of the technical part of defeating those blocks. And where the guy's at. Are his hips still turned? Speed him butt side. Is he square? I got a shock and shed him, okay? So that's the 2 points that we can drill with the other one. Well, we'll take a look at strike zone first. So this is where it's set up. Here's the mercenary, here's the ranger, okay? The box, it's hard to see the cones, but they're sitting right there. Return guy back. We'll throw the ball. I can control the decision, okay? So if I give him an early whistle, pause it when he's there, there's the ball. He has 20 yards of space. Easy decision. I made it easy on this kid. He's mentally small. That's the speed decision. No contact, roll. Great. Winner, winner. And he's got a little dance to celebrate. Looking at it from this angle, and ball's up, I blow a whistle, that's when the drill starts. Don't like him, wasted movement, doesn't get back in time, gets blown by, okay? Winner for the mercenary, okay? Where was the ball at in relationship to the strike zone? Next one, again, when the decision's made, there's 15 yards of space, speed him. Don't make contact, don't shock and shed, don't strike and press that guy, blow by his butt. And he does that. Now, the one thing that I would critique with him is saying, hey, when he goes to throw his tuck, I love that position, how he's here, he just threw it too early. Okay, so he actually opens his shoulders back up and allows that guy to get that hand on. So when we say protect that shoulder, if he would have thrown that shoulder down just a half step later, that guy's got nothing to press on. He's not putting his hand on my shoulder or on my back. Great, you're gone, see ya, okay? You just made my highlight reel. But either way, it's definitely a win for him. Come square, tag guys off. It's physical on the block. We never tackled the return guys with it. So now we're going to look at a decision that wasn't the best one. So when we go look at now, this guy's at 9 yards. Okay? So this mercenary made a speed decision. And you'll see he didn't have enough room to get around that block, and he ended up picking the wrong side. Now, he made a full speed decision. So again, I go back to my word. I'm not going to yell at him for not getting butt side. I'm going to yell at him for making the wrong decision. I'm going to coach him first. If he makes it multiple times, then I'm going to yell at him. Okay? But again, it all comes back to where's he at? He's standing on the 10 yards away, 15 yards from the block, however you want to define it. Okay? And he makes a speed decision. He should have. He should have went right down the midline of this guy. Okay, again, a strike and press decision is how we do that in our terminology. And the one other thing of going, hey, did he make a good or bad decision? When you're watching the return guys here, and we'll have a couple more really good clips, he doesn't even need to change his path that much. He can go right down the pipe here, okay? Not what we want, and that's why we teach it this way. We want to affect that kick returner has to stutter his speed. He's got to change direction somehow. If a kick returner is getting north and south right now, we're going to have issues. Okay, so again, just make a better decision. Made the wrong one. Here, when he's about to make contact, where's he at? He's at 15 yards. So this is the flip side of it. So he probably just saw me and go, hey, that's a strike and press decision. So he goes, okay, I better make a strike and press decision here. He didn't read the drill, okay? So when you have a guy like this that makes a strike and press decision, you know, he's sitting and fighting that block forever. Speed it, okay? And you see, he knows. Put his hands, oh no. Oops. Again, now you got to battle with that block. Now, looking at, again, touching on the kickoff return aspect of it, this guy started for us on our kickoff return unit. He's able to get his hips around. He doesn't give up a lot of depth. It only takes 3 yards to stop that guy's charge. He stays square, keeps his feet running. Definitely a win in that case for the Rangers. And we'll score this stuff. At times, see, these are our quarterbacks. These are our old linemen. That's Coach Blazik. There are certain days where we make this really competitive. I mean, practice stops for strike zone. The head coach is the one blowing the whistle. Okay, so when I say that we invest and spend time on this, we do, okay? And we try and add energy to it and make things extra competitive with the crowd. It's different when I'm the one coaching them. But when their peers are standing around them, watching them win and lose and things like that, it adds to it, okay? Yeah, where's he at? He's at the 10-yard mark. So go ahead and make a strike and press, which is really good. If I'm going to coach up the Ranger, also a guy that started for us on the kickoff return, does a great job absorbing it. The mercenary, you see him reset his hand there. You see him bring his hand. Right after you strike, you got to reset and press. Okay? You got to strike and press. He strikes, but then stays glued to it. There's no press. There's no extension. So as the play goes, he's never able to tag off on the return guy. Okay? So great decision. Great decision here. I like him. You'll see him on film. He made a ton of plays for us, but you need to be able to get that off. Okay? Also a good battle. The other guy that he's going against was also one of our starters on the return unit. But you see how it now affects the return guy. He almost falls outside of that box, which is actually set up at 6 yards here. We made it a little bit more advantageous for the return guy. Good decision. Okay, speed. We're getting it. Hey, this is a speed. This guy does a decent job getting him out. Now, he just doesn't have the hips. You see how he shuffles around? So to me, that's a guy we cannot put, again, directly over top the ball. He's going to be a field guy for me, okay? He's going to be a little bit further away from the ball so he can set up his angle into the kick, okay? So as you're looking at it going, hey, I like his decisions, I like his mentality, he's a good tackler, he just can't do that. And even though he gets that far out, he affects the return guy that much where, again, he's on the perimeter of that box, which is what we're looking for. Great decision, and great job. And so now here you see him get the press and that extension. And there'll be some contact now. This tight end here isn't overly physical. Well, a lot of times, I mean, there are some stalemates there. I mean, it's mano. There's some good stuff. And it actually gets him all the way outside the box, okay? I was getting a little frustrated that day. We didn't have a lot of good drills, and that was one of the best ones of the day. One of our starting linebackers. So here's the speed zone. Now the guys don't have a return guy in it. This is where you coach up some more of the technical aspects of how you beat a guy, okay? So here, he's got his numbers facing him, shot, chip. You got to deliver some sort of blow, okay? He's not going to whiff on you. Or you got to set him up enough where you juke him without killing your momentum, which is sometimes tough to do. So I'd rather have a guy long stride, pop, and then, again, either swim over the top or rip underneath. He tries to rip and run, guy runs his feet, he gets blocked. Now, this guy's got a little wiggle. That was the one with the hips that we just saw. Hey, there's a great example of this guy not being able to get his hands on him because he's got it tucked. Okay? So that's why I don't overteach the rip. I'd rather have him tuck and protect because you get this a lot, where guys are just sliding right off of them. Okay? And that's something that's easy to do when you're running full speed. Just tuck that. Just crunch your elbow a little bit tuck, and you can still have your knees up high and roll with them. Okay? And when I first started, I didn't know, how do you teach, how do you drill it? We break it down, do little pieces of it. So here you see a guy that, hey, give him a little lean, a little sucker, he leans on him, swipe, go. Great full speed decision. Not very good here. And now he takes him outside, but he can't run away from him. When I say dissect, and that's a term, I mean, we want to be tight. A surgeon dissecting, and we want to be precise. Okay? You want to be technical with it. Don't just run around him. You're out of the box because you lose the drill. And here's a couple examples. One, a good shot and shed. Hey, get going. Boom. And go. And then these guys both do a nice job of tucking their shoulders and going. He doesn't do it quite as well, which is why he gets held. He tucks his shoulder really nicely, and again, it deflects that contact. Now, looking at it and bringing the whole thing back together, we break it apart into 3 tandems. We call them tandems, okay? And or groups. So we have our boundary, our kicker's right there in the middle. We'll be a 5-and-5 team, okay? And we have our boundary tandem or group, our middle, and our field, okay? Typically in the boundary, you'll always have an edge and a folder out of that group, and then usually a lever, okay? At times we'll change that up with spills. In the middle, you'll have a lot of levers, and then sometimes spills, and then from the field, you also have edge techniques and spills. So we just count from where we're kicking, we're directionally right. For guys that know a lot about kicking or don't, typically if you have a right-footed kicker, he's more comfortable kicking the ball to the right. Going to the left, you have a tendency to hook it a little bit more, and you'll challenge getting the ball kicked out of bounds sometimes, okay? We have a lefty, and he's weird. Okay, so he's a lefty and he prefers kicking right. I'm not going to tell him what to do. Guys, and kickers are, you got to be gentle. You got to put on the baby gloves with those guys, okay? You can't be that tough. And I used to be one, so I can say that, okay? So just do whatever they're comfortable with, okay? If you were a deep right kicking team last year and he comes up, coach, I want to kick deep left. Okay, we'll kick deep left. That's fine. It's the same business, right? Just adjust your coverage. But we count from right to left, the direction that we're kicking. So we just go 1 through 10. That's how we name our guys. And what they'll do is they'll huddle on the sideline right here. And so I'll literally go right down the line and kind of tag them on top of the head based on what I want to adjust. So 1, fold, edge, lever. 5, lever, spill, lever, lever. 8, 9, 10, lever, edge, fold. Mercenaries. We break the huddle with no mercy. Show no mercy, and then they roll. Okay? So that's just schematically, that's what we do. So we don't have a play call. Every time I'll be talking to them. Okay? And then we can adjust that as well. So like the boundary tandem here, 1, 2, and 3, again, what I originally said was fold, edge, lever. Edge meaning you gotta stay outside of it. If I want to change that up, I can make the 2 spill. Now instead of staying outside of it, he's gonna knife in front of it. Okay? So you can just do little tweaks like that without having to draw to those guys. Those guys understand what those 4 techniques mean, and we can go. Okay? So again, my favorite guy right here is number 2. He's an edge technique. This is what you're looking for out of an edge technique. A guy that can turn that, that's that drill on the shield, and that has the courage. Okay? That started the second half. We came out against a team that we were supposed to pound and we weren't. He started the game for us, and you can just see the excitement of it. Just that mentality, a guy that can roll. Okay, we'll watch these from the end zone. This one is our field edge technique. So now our 8, 9, 10, here's our edge technique from the field. Again, you want guys that can roll. You look at this first wave, edge, edge, and again, one of our top guys that can run. He was a lever. But directionally kicking it, now all of a sudden our edge, when he declares there, and when I talked about forming a box, okay, you constrict the field. We're defending 10 yards there. Our folders, somebody's getting his butt kicked here, but our folders are removed, and we have a kicker. So we have 3 guys that kind of fit that second level net. But everybody else, ooh, you're in the mess, baby. And again, that pad, it was kind of funny with them launching themselves, but some guys are hesitant to leave their feet. I've had guys that would run and tag them off. I'm going, just, yeah, jump, go. But it takes some courage to do that. So you're looking for a special type of player there. And then this one is just, again, this is the kid I love. This is mentality. So here's a spill underneath it. I mean, getting up and rolling. I want to show a couple more clips here just of how we change this up to affect coverage guys. So again, I pointed out our number 9 before, he was the edge. In this clip, I believe, if my notes are right, he's a spill. So you see these guys change track, also he's unblocked. You know, this guy's responsible for the wide guy, number 3. Well, this is number 3 in their mind. Okay, R8, they're 3. So now also we got an unblocked guy showing up to the party. So as the game goes, and I'm not the only one coaching this, each one of those tandems has a specific coach. We have another coach in the box that watches the opponent's return scheme, and then I'm down in the field. So we'll have 5 coaches responsible for keeping eyes on this stuff. Okay, and if they're saying, hey, they're getting our edge and they're blocking them, if we switch that up, we're golden. Okay, so this is something that's little, and also we show up to the party. 2 more clips, okay? So now that same technique here, he's now a folder. So now we have our spill coming from our 3, another unblocked guy. We end up getting 2 unblocked guys here. Okay? So there's something so little as when I'm saying that huddle, IDing that and going, okay, this time we're going to switch it up. Okay? Instead of full edge spill, we are going to go all the way back to the beginning, and I'm going to go lever, fold, spill. Okay? And you also will watch the end zone of this clip to watch some of the interior play on this. So unbelievable job. This was the guy that I highlighted earlier that didn't get his hands inside on the strike zone drill, but love how he stems his backside, even though he takes him front side so he doesn't go butt side. And this is what I mean. If you teach that kid, you have to go butt side. Well, all of a sudden we got 5 guys jammed up into the boundary here. I don't care about his butt side. I care about a full speed decision. Okay? So if you're rolling, good. Beat, lean, that's a win. That's a win. And it's not going butt side. Last one. So same kid, it would be a better advantage to look at it from here. ID in our number 5. So here, he's directly over top of the ball. The guy kind of gets a decent spot on him. He's in a distance where he should be making a speed decision. So, shock and shed. Hop him and get off of him. Okay? So I endorse this fully. Decent job to get to the fall. Great job, and again, because if we get the ball kicked, this isn't where I want it to land. I want it out here. Okay? So it sets up these guys' angles a little bit better. Bad job here. He needs to get himself butt side. Great job by our 5. But because of that, because of the lever rules, you know, he goes top side, all of a sudden he gets into a bend and chase mode underneath him. Okay? So if everybody's making the proper full speed decisions, how many guys are sick of me here and saying full speed decision? Okay? So are our players. But it's what we do. Okay? It's what we drill, it's what we preach, and we want to get guys down the field, and it's a party at the football. Another example of our edge technique now being a spill guy, and also we get an unblocked guy to the party. Again, it's a mentality, it's how you break it down, how you drill it, and guys, you need a full staff to do it. You're not going to get better at it if you don't practice it. Special teams account, it's not a third. Don't go to your coach and say, hey, I want equal third parts. It's about 22 to 24% of the snaps and plays. We'll take at least 20% of your practice time, put it into special teams, have everybody endorsed on it, and you will see results on this stuff. Appreciate your time. Thank you, guys.